Hello. So we are going to be looking at integers today. We're going to be defining integers and determining whether numbers are integers or are not integers. So let's get started. Okay, I'm going to pull up some tools and I change the color a bit. All right, here is a number line. It goes from -10 to +10. Some of this number line are integers. These ones on the lines are the integers. They can be negative. Oops, I don't like those last two. They can be negative. They can be positive. Or they can even be 0. 0, by the way, is neither negative nor positive. It is in between. 0 is not negative or positive. It is in between. But all of those are integers. So if those are integers, which ones are not integers? Well, not integers are the numbers between the lines. Anything that's between the lines is not an integer. And again, they can be negative or they can be positive. Now these can't be 0 because 0 is not between the lines. 0 is right at one of the lines. But they are the ones between. Well, what do we mean by between? Well, let's put a few numbers down. Let's highlight some numbers. How about -7? That's on a line, so this is an integer. How about -5 1/4? Well, that's between, so it is not an integer. How about 6? Well, 6 is on the line, so that is an integer. But how about 3 and 3.75? Well, that's between, so that is not an integer. Are you beginning to get the idea? I think you're ready for a definition. Here is the definition. An integer is a number that does not have a fraction part, a number without a fraction part. So we're going to look at these numbers and we're going to circle the ones that are integers and cross out the ones that are not integers. I'll give you a short amount of time to figure it out for yourself. Take a look at them, decide if they're integers or not. All right, let's take a look together. -8, does it have a fraction part? No, that means it is an integer. 24, does it have a fraction part? No, that means it is an integer. 18 3/5, that has a fraction part. 3/5 is a fraction part, so that is not an integer. -3.5, is that an integer? No, because 0.5 means 5/10, which is a fraction part. It doesn't matter if the number is written as a fraction, a over b, or as a decimal, because it's just a decimal fraction in that case. -72 2/3, well, 2/3 is a fraction part, so that's no good. 14.703 with the 3 repeating. 0.703 with the 3 repeating is a fraction part, so that's no good. 0. Does 0 have any fraction parts? No, it is an integer. Are you beginning to get the idea now? Here's a tricky one. Let's say I say 21/7. Well, it looks like a fraction, doesn't it? But does it have a fraction part? We'll take a look. What's 21 divided by 7 equal to? That's equal to 3. Does 3 have a fraction part? No. So that is an integer. Let's try another one. Let's try 23/7. Well, if you divide 23 by 7, are you going to get a whole number? No, you're going to get 3 2/7. So that one is not an integer. Okay, so it doesn't matter if it's negative or positive. It only matters if it has a fraction part or not. So let's try a few questions. All right, circle the correct responses. Is 475 an integer? Well, is there a fraction part there? No. Therefore, it is an integer. Why or why not? Well, there's only one correct answer. It has no fraction part. Is negative 3.8 an integer? Well, isn't 0.8 a fraction part? So you're going to say no. Why or why not? Well, because it has a fraction part. Notice, those are the only two possible answers for why or why not if something is an integer. It has no fraction part, makes it an integer. It has a fraction part, makes it not an integer. So, answer each question. Is 2 3/4 an integer? Well, no. No. Why or why not? Because it has a fraction part. Get the idea? Is negative 47 integer? Yes. Why or why not? It has no fraction part. Get the idea? All right. I'll stop the video. If you have any questions, send me a message or ask me during class.